Today, we're diving into something that trips up a lot of contractors in Illinois, the world of contractor bonds. Getting this right is absolutely essential for your business, so let's break it down and make it simple.
So let me ask you something. You're out there working hard in Illinois, you've got your crew, your projects are lined up, but are you 100% sure you have all the right bonds in place? It's a tricky question here, and for a lot of folks, the answer isn't a clear yes. That's exactly what we're here to clear up.
Here's what we've got on tap. We'll start with why Illinois is so different. Then we'll look at the state rules for roofers and the local rules, using Chicago as our big example. We'll even see when you might need two bonds at once, and then we'll wrap it all up with a super simple 3-step action plan to get you compliant.
Okay, first things first. Let's get to the root of all the confusion. It's this thing called a dual authority structure. You see, unlike most other states where there's one central office for everything, Illinois does things a little differently. Think of it like this. There are two sets of rule books. You've got the state authority, the Illinois Department of Financial and Professional Regulation. We'll just call them the IDFPR. But here's the twist. They only deal with roofing contractors. That's it. For every other trade, like general contractors or plumbers, the rules are made at the local level, by your city or your county. And that's the dual system in a nutshell.
So let's hammer these key facts home because they're really what makes Illinois stand out. There is no statewide general contractor license. Nope, the state-level bond is exclusively for roofers. And big cities, especially Chicago, have a whole separate list of bond requirements for most trades. Illinois is really the only major state that operates this way, which creates this huge minefield where good contractors can accidentally fall out of compliance.
All right, let's peel back that first layer of the onion, the statewide requirement. This is the one that every single roofing contractor in Illinois needs to know about.
So the IDFPR has two flavors of roofing licenses. First is the limited license. This one requires a $10,000 bond, and it covers you for work on smaller residential buildings. Think 8 units or less. But if you're working on bigger residential projects or any kind of commercial work, you've got to have the unlimited license, and that one requires a $25,000 bond.
And let's be crystal clear about this. This is not a suggestion. If you're caught roofing in Illinois without the proper state bond, it's a Class A misdemeanor. The state does not mess around with this, and the penalties can be really serious. But believe it or not, for a lot of you, these state rules are only half the story.
So now, let's zoom in a bit. We're going from the state level down to the city streets. We're going to use Chicago as our main example here, because its rules are some of the most specific you'll find anywhere in the state.
See, the city of Chicago's Department of Buildings plays by its own set of rules. If you're a general contractor, you need a $10,000 bond. Plumber, that's a $20,000 bond. And a drain layer, we're talking a $50,000 bond. And remember, these are totally separate from anything the state requires.
Okay, so now for the big question. What happens when these two systems collide? Let's walk through a super common real-world scenario, the Chicago roofer.
This is the key takeaway, so you'll want to remember this. If you are a roofer working anywhere inside the city limits of Chicago, you have to hold two separate bonds. Not one, but two. You need the state roofing bond from the IDFPR, and you need the local general contractor bond from the city of Chicago. It's not an either-or situation.
So let's talk dollars and cents. What does this actually look like? Well, first, you've got that state bond. If you're an unlimited roofer, that's a $25,000 bond. Now, just to be clear, that's the coverage amount, not what you actually pay for it. And then on top of that, you have to add the city bond. In Chicago, a roofer is usually classified as a general contractor, so you need that $10,000 bond too. So you're literally stacking one requirement from the state right on top of another from the city. So what does this all add up to in terms of your annual cost? Well, for a roofer in Chicago who has good credit, you're looking at around $700 a year to hold both of those bonds. That's the real-world price tag of navigating this dual authority system.
Here's a quick chart to give you a better feel for the costs. The amount you pay each year, that's called the premium, is just a small fraction of the total bond amount. For that state unlimited roofing bond, you might pay somewhere between $250 and $750 a year. The Chicago General Contractor Bond, that's usually between $100 and $300. Of course, all this assumes you have decent credit.
Okay, so we've laid out the entire kind of confusing puzzle, but now let's talk about the solution. Here's a simple 3-step action plan to make sure you get this right and stay fully compliant in Illinois.
Step 1. Figure out what you actually need. Ask yourself, am I a roofer? Do I work in Chicago or another town with its own rules? Or is it both? Step 2. Apply for your bond.
The good news is you can often do this online and get approved the very same day. And finally, step 3, file your bond. Make sure you send those official documents to the right place, whether that's the IDFPR down in Springfield or your local city hall.
Look, the system in Illinois can definitely feel a little complicated. But once you understand how the state and local authorities work together and you follow these simple steps, you can operate your business with total confidence. So, are you ready to make sure you're fully covered?
You can get your surety bond quote in just a few minutes over at buysuretybonds.com.